If you dig deep enough into the forgotten corners of Silicon Valley, into the places where the future once lived and died, you eventually find a dusty shelf full of abandoned ideas, prototype motherboards, half-finished smartwatches, dead VR headsets, gadgets that were supposed to change the world, but didn't. Sitting among them, almost shyly, is a pair of Google Glass, a relic of a moment when Google believed it could put the future directly onto your face. A device born from enormous ambition, intense hype, genuine innovation, and, as analysts widely believe, a massive investment of resources over several years. But today, it's remembered for something else: a spectacular fall, a culture that rejected it, a promise the world wasn't ready to keep. Welcome to Signal Lost, where we explore the rise, fall, and rediscovery of technology that never survived the future. And today, we're looking at one of the most infamous experiments in tech history. This is Google Glass, the billion-dollar idea no one wanted. To understand Google Glass, you have to understand the era it was born into. The early 2000s weren't just about smartphones and apps. Inside Google, a different kind of energy was building, a sense that the company wasn't just creating products, it was shaping the future. This era gave rise to Google X, the company's semi-secret moonshot lab, a place built to explore ideas so bold they bordered on science fiction. Self-driving cars, robotics, high-altitude internet balloons, wearable displays. Google X wasn't about incremental progress. It was about the leaps, big, world-altering leaps, the kind tech companies dream of but rarely attempt. And within those walls, a small team of engineers began working on an idea that had floated in tech circles for decades. A computer in your field of vision, always on, always ready, always there. Google co-founder Sergey Brin became one of the project's most vocal champions. Early prototypes looked like science experiments: bulky frames, awkward battery packs, and external modules. But the concept behind them was captivating. Imagine notifications, navigation, messages, search results, and real-time information delivered in the corner of your eye. No phone needed. Google poured resources into the project. The exact figure has never been released, but industry observers agree it likely cost hundreds of millions of dollars over the years. Perhaps more once enterprise versions and extended development are included. Google wasn't trying to build another gadget. They were trying to build the next interface of human life. If there's one moment people remember about Glass, it's the reveal. Google didn't just announce Glass. They staged a piece of technological theater. At Google I/O 2012, Sergey Brin appeared on stage, connected to a live video feed from a skydiver wearing Google Glass. What followed was a coordinated sequence. Skydivers jumped from a blimp. Live video streamed through Glass. Cyclists raced across rooftops. Rappellers descended the building. All recorded by Glass in real time. It was bold. It was cinematic, and it worked. The tech world exploded. Journalists called Glass the future of computing. Designers put it on models. Celebrities tweeted about it. Google announced the Explorer Edition, a limited-run experimental version, priced at $1,500. Google never claimed that price reflected the cost of manufacturing. In fact, later teardown analyses showed the components likely cost $150 to $200. The high price was understood for what it was: buying early access to a prototype. Glass suddenly became a status symbol, a badge of early adoption. But as the hype grew, something else began hovering under the surface. Nobody had a clear answer to a simple question: what is Google Glass actually for? For a moment, wearing Glass made you look like you were living in the future. Then the world got a closer look and didn't like what it saw. Google limited Explorer availability through an invitation system. Analysts estimate tens of thousands of units made it into the world. Not hundreds of thousands, not millions, just a small circle of early adopters. But even that was enough to cause tension. People walked into bars, restaurants, stores, offices, wearing a device that looked like it might be recording them. There was no light, no indicator, and no subtle change to let others know if Glass was active. And the reaction was swift. The nickname Glasshole for the people who wore the glasses appeared on social media and spread like wildfire. It captured exactly how critics felt. A person wearing glass wasn't futuristic. They were annoying, distracting, potentially spying. Businesses put up signs banning it.
Lake Cafe told him Google Glass was banned in the establishment, especially because he has worn them in there before.
I actually sat at the bar once and had one of the bartenders ask me to check it out and try it on even.
Starr says on his last visit, the manager came over to the table and told him to take them off or leave. So he walked out.
They can't really take them off and put them away because they don't bend up, they don't fold up or anything. So they still would have been sitting on the table, and from her logic, I could have been recording that whole time.
Videos of confrontations went viral. Celebrities mocked it. Comedians incorporated it into routines. Some places posted glass ban stickers next to no smoking signs. Google could outspend competitors on hardware, but it couldn't outspend culture. The Glasshole meme was a wound the product would never recover from. The biggest issue was simple. People didn't know when they were being recorded. Google Glass had a camera, front and center, with no light, no LED, and no visible sign of activity. In the best possible environment, this might have been fine. But Glass launched during one of the most sensitive privacy climates in modern history, right after the NSA revelations. At the height of surveillance anxiety, critics argued that Glass created a world where everyday life could be recorded without consent. Hospitals banned it. Schools banned it. Casinos banned it. Bars banned it. Some friend groups banned it.
Glass does not increase your attractiveness to the opposite sex.
Oh, these? No. These don't have X-ray vision. Yet. So,
This is not what we mean by live streaming.
It's summertime and I was thinking about doing something different with my hair. I don't know if I should blonde or if I should be bob cut. I'm not sure what would look best.
Even if privacy hadn't been an issue, Glass faced another challenge. It didn't look cool. In Google's marketing material, models looked sleek and futuristic. But in real life, Glass looked awkward. It looked strange. And it looked like an unfinished prototype, because it was. Battery life was also a problem. The exact numbers varied by user and situation, but common reports from reviewers and early adopters suggested light use, a few hours, video recording, significantly less. Navigation, inconsistent, device heat, noticeable under stress. The display prism caused eye strain for many, and the voice command system meant users often had to loudly say, "Okay, Glass." In quiet environments, this drew attention, sometimes the wrong kind of attention. People weren't ready for augmented reality in public, and Google didn't fully anticipate the social friction Glass would create. With $1,500 pricing and limited units, consumer revenue was modest by Google standards. These numbers tell a simple truth. Glass didn't fail because of money. Glass failed because of people. It failed because the world wasn't ready. Google didn't suffer a financial catastrophe, but it did suffer a cultural one. Before we continue, if you're enjoying this journey into forgotten innovation, consider subscribing to Signal Lost. Every week we uncover another story. The abandoned prototypes, the lost technologies, the devices that tried to change the world but never got their chance. Your support keeps these forgotten signals alive. Now back to Google Glass. By late 2014, Google knew Glass wasn't catching on. The press shifted from fascination to skepticism. Consumers began avoiding it. Developers pulled back as user numbers stalled. And Sergey Brin, Glass's most visible supporter, quietly stopped wearing it in public. Then, on January 15, 2015, Google announced it would end production of the Explorer Edition and close the consumer-facing program. They didn't say Glass had failed. They said it was graduating from Google X. In 2017, Google brought Glass back. Not for consumers, not for fashion, not for skydiving demos, for work. Google Glass Enterprise Edition targeted industries where hands-free access to information genuinely mattered. Manufacturing, healthcare, warehousing, field service, aviation. And this time, Glass found its niche. Workers could follow instructions without holding manuals or tablets. Doctors could access patient data in sterile environments. Warehouse employees could scan inventory more efficiently. Google released a second enterprise model in 2019, and Glass quietly lived on until early 2023. No hype, no headlines, just utility. the very thing glass needed from the beginning. By the early 2020s, augmented reality had changed. New companies entered the space. New headsets offered deeper immersion. Smart glasses became lightweight and socially acceptable. Against this backdrop, glass, even in its enterprise form, looked limited, more of a tool than a platform, more of a niche than a revolution. In March 2023, Google officially ended sales and support for Glass Enterprise Edition 2. This time, there was no skydiver, no grand reveal, no farewell announcement, just a quiet ending to a product that had lived 2 lives and never quite found the one it was meant for. So what did Google Glass leave behind? It failed as a consumer device. It failed as a cultural symbol. It failed to convince people to put a camera on their face, but failure doesn't erase impact. Glass did something more important. It forced the tech world to confront what wearable computing really means. It pushed engineers to rethink the balance between function and social acceptance. It made privacy part of the conversation, a conversation that continues today. And it paved the way for modern AR glasses, enterprise head-mounted systems, mixed reality environments, early concepts that would influence products like Meta's glasses and Apple's Vision Pro ecosystem. Glass wasn't ahead of its time, it was ahead of our time. A device built for a world that didn't exist yet, and still might not. Thank you for watching Signal Lost. If you enjoy these deep dives into forgotten tech, abandoned hardware, and the ghosts of Silicon Valley, subscribe for more stories like this. Until next time,